Hello, songfularrow here, and there were a few problems with this stream, such as my mic was muted, I forgot to turn it back on, and I also apparently, while messing around with my streaming settings, turned off the game sound that should have been coming through during my stream. So there's no game sound, there's no voice. I'm going to have to narrate this all. And it's been a while since I've done that, so should be a bit fun, should be a little annoying. Let's get started. So I had to grab a few things from the chest, obviously, including some dirt, which would then be placed down so that the grass would, well, obviously grow. And I'm trying to get flax seeds because I need a string substitute. Now, that's important for things like bows, fishing rods, so on. Got some bone meal stuff going, which is good that I don't have to worry about the trees or food anymore, which is very nice. Next up, speaking of trees, it's time for timber. And, well, you don't need to see all that. But I did get an interesting reaction from these ones. Chopping down 3 at once obliterated my axe. And thus I decided to try and put my wooden axe in the crafting grid to make it into one that wouldn't break so easily. That was a mistake. Nothing much else to be said, unfortunately. Yep. Worst part is no one said anything. Like, it'd be one thing if no one just showed up to the stream, or like one person showed up, was like, oh, this is very interesting, left. And that's probably what happened. I probably had like 2 people actually show up at different intervals. Probably is like it showed one person being there for the whole stream, but yeah, no sound. No game sound, no mic sound. Nothing. Yeah. Anyway, it was time to build the circle. Yeah. So I am building the circle because I got some input in my last Minecraft stream on what shape to make this, and circle was what they wanted. And if you want to make decisions on what I do in my streams, all you have to do is show up or go to the Discord and suggest things. Yeah, I take suggestions. You can also leave a comment. I appreciate all input, good and bad. So, yeah, you can stop by the stream, interact. And now for the very important part. I could still hear the game. I just want to make that very clear. The only reason there's no sound here is I was trying to make it so there was no sound from my computer for a specific overlay. Knowledge of Death, too. Very nice. Yeah. So I could still hear the phantoms. The game was running just fine on my end. This was a purely technical issue with the streaming software. I had changed one. Let me say that again. One of the overlays to not have sound. And it apparently went for both of them. Alright. And now back to the narration. The sun was rising. The phantom was swooping. And a slash to its face. I was not going to let this phantom die by any hand other than mine. And huzzah! I was victorious. Okay, now with that out of the way, I am trying to collect all the saplings I can because the more saplings, the more dirt. Now, here's an interesting thing. I was trying to make mud. It didn't work. I thought, oh, okay, then if it won't let me make mud by creating dirt in a barrel that has water already in it, maybe if I put the dirt and leave it in there during the rain, maybe? Just maybe I can get some mud. And the reason I wanted mud was I wanted clay. Oh yeah, the tree. I felt stupid after discovering this. I will admit that. I had just filled up the watering cans, obviously. So I was thinking, okay, well, I wonder if I could grow a tree with this. I mean, it works on the wheat. I wish it didn't work on the tree because then I would feel less stupid. I also tried it on the grass. If you could pretend that I didn't, though, that would make me feel better. I then bone mealed the grass and got 0 seeds from it. Very fruitful. Yeah. More dirt. Okay. Moving on. It was time to continue with some tree growing, as I would need a lot, and I mean a lot more wood. Yep. Chop that down, keep on moving. So after a bit of that, it was time to, once again, see about our circle. And again, actually, I don't know if I've said this yet, but I was doing the circle because I had asked the people watching, specifically a good friend of mine, and who's been there from day one, if I should do a circle, and he said yes. So we are building a circle. I mean, to be fair, we probably would have done a circle anyway, but the fun part is I got confused. I forgot whether I was counting from the crafting table or the end of the dirt blocks. I was counting from the area where the dirt blocks end for how far out I should go. Anyway, after figuring out that I'm stupid, no surprise there, the test results came back positive on the stupid test, and yeah. Alright, enough of me beating myself up for making a small mistake. I was then in charge of filling in the outline, as, you do after you try and make a circle platform. You make the circle to the best of your ability, and then you fill it in. It was looking good, in all honesty. I did think it was looking good. Then I decided that, okay, I should put in some fences so I don't fall off. Yeah. And I also realized I made a mistake again, and, well, I'll have to fix that at some point. I also got attacked by more phantoms. Beautiful. Yep. Who wouldn't want to be attacked by phantoms? I then made some more barrels, as I needed to test my theory. I would fill those with dirt, and then I would let them be rained upon. I'm not sure what term to use here. Wait for it to hopefully turn to mud, I guess. Then back to putting down some fence gates. Not fence gates, fence post. I'm trying to decrease the chance of me falling off, not necessarily get rid of it entirely. I probably should have just, made it so that I don't fall off entirely. Anyway, after that, I did try and get some flowers out of this. Didn't work. Moved on to the dirt. Also, at some point, I don't remember when, but I did try and make some magical bone meal. I don't remember what it's supposed to do, if it does anything. But, right here. I had used the mystical yellow petals. I'm supposed to use yellow dye. I did not remember that at that moment. I tried to find the recipe. I could not remember where I found it the first time. Anyway, it was time to mark where the staircase was going to go. And start building it. So, I struggled for a second on whether or not I wanted to build another crafting table. Sometimes you struggle with weird stuff. Anywho, let's get building. Now, obviously, building the staircase is only possible because of the mod that lets me place blocks in a very strange way, but it did not necessarily make this easier. It was a decent struggle, but after I figured out the trick, it went sort of smoothly. And at the bottom, it was then time to build the platform that would be used for our mob spawner. Now, I did make a mistake while building this. I used top slabs rather than bottom slabs, and that will be important later. But for now, it was time to measure out where the platform would be, where it would go, all that. And yeah, for the most part, it went pretty well. No real difficulties. He's just made a quick circle, very small, so it was really easy. And then I made the rim to help prevent falling off. And it was time to build the central platform. Quick 3x3. And yeah, we're good. I then found out this was useless. Yay. It was then time to make some more bone meal real quick. Now, with that out of the way, I decided to head up. And I'm not entirely sure what I was doing up there. I think I was just pacing around, trying to think about something. Or I was probably talking to chat and just moving around. I did decide to try and raise the post here, yeah. And then there it was, a chicken jockey. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever seen. I tried desperately not to kill the chicken, but it came with a price. I had to quickly go and make a boat, obviously, as chickens are a pretty big deal here. If I could get that chicken, I wouldn't have to eat bread. The problem was I died. Yeah. But I wasn't too embarrassed. There was a chicken and a zombie. And besides, once it was in the boat, it was a pretty one-sided fight. And if I wasn't trying to save the chicken, I don't think I would have died either. The only embarrassing part was the fact that I got rewards for my first death. 50 slabs and an enchanted book of Tombstone Soulbound, which is useless because I don't have an anvil. So I took it out on the zombie, who apparently was glowing because of this thingy. A ability tome, which gives me regeneration. I don't know if it's already giving me regeneration or if I have to unlock the regeneration by feeding it XP. I don't know. I had no clue how to use it. I just put it in my offhand because it looked cool. I was more excited about the chicken though. And with more zombies coming up from the spawn platform, which was not meant to actually be a spawn platform, but instead be a place for me to safely kill the mobs, I'll have to fix that some other stream. And probably the next one, actually. Anyway, a spider did spawn too, so that was good, but I didn't get string from that one. And after getting nearly shot by a skeleton, who apparently then decided to take the liberty of taking his own life, which kind of sucks because I could have used the bones and the possible drop of a bow, but whatever. No bounty either, which, I mean, yeah, okay, fine. Kinda sucked. And there was another skeleton. Yeah, so it turns out that's a pretty good distance for the platform. The mobs are spawning. It's working pretty well. And honestly, yeah, I'm happy with it. Except for the fact that it's spawning them now rather than when they're all contained. Now, obviously, I don't have any water for the mob farm, so this might actually be my best option. But I decided to put down some fence gates. Because, well, yeah. Ooh, Knowledge of Death 3. That was pretty good. And a chipped lightning gem, which also pretty good. I just have no clue how to use them. Maybe you right click on them, I don't know. Maybe we can figure that out together in the next stream. Please do stop by if you're interested. And anyway, moving on. I did check on the dirt platform. It was going pretty well. I did apparently get one bone. I didn't notice that before, actually. Anyway, it was time to move the dirt sort of out of the way and back. I mean, I kind of feel like that was a mistake, but we're going to pretend it wasn't and move on. As, well, it's time to get started with other stuff. Now, I did have the idea of trying the rotten flesh, and I am glad I did, because that means once the mob farm is up and running, we're golden. Next, time to get the upper part of the platform going, which meant building up pretty high. And it went well for the most part. Very few deaths. I am happy to say that I only died like twice. Now, the main part was the platform, obviously. And this was the part where I figured out, oh, the gourd thingy takes XP. Cool. Next, the platform. Unfortunately, I couldn't quite remember the length, but apparently I actually remembered it perfectly because I looked this up since then. Yeah, I did do some off-camera stuff, but this is the end of it. Thanks for watching. See you next time where we will finish the farm.